Hello and welcome. This is not going to be a true yoga class by any definition of yoga that I typically use. This class is going to focus on our core and on different exercises and kind of more physical therapy type exercises that we can do for our core and activating it in a way that actually brings us support. And then we'll move into some more restorative practices and poses for our body that can also help with our core and our low back, etc. So if you're looking for a yoga class, I suggest you go to one of the other days. But if you're looking to learn how to move your core and body in new ways, then you're in the right place. So let's start on our bellies. And you can just cross one hand on top of the other and lay your head down. And your goal on your belly here is to send your breath into the back of your body. So often we breathe into just one part of our body, which can actually weaken our core in that spot. So can you bring your breath into the sides of your waist and into your low back? So you can start just getting acquainted with all the parts of your core, not just your belly, but also your back. And your core can be described as a canister, if you will. The cylinder that comes around your front all the way to your back. And the muscles there attach both on your thoracolumbar fascia, the connective tissue along your spine, to the back of your hips or sacrum. And they also attach in front to your linea alba, that connective tissue that runs down the center of your belly through your belly button. So see if when you breathe, you could imagine the back half of this cylinder expanding. When I first start doing this, I really don't find much movement at all because I'm not used to breathing into these areas. Breathing into an area, feeling it move, can bring us more awareness or proprioception of that area, which can help us better activate our muscles. And coming on to your back now. And place your feet on the ground. And bring your hands behind your head. Feel like you're trying to tag the front of your belly down towards the ground. But at the same time, feel like you're trying to kick your bum or your tailbone a little bit back towards your head. So it's almost like you're trying to arch your back, but there's no movement that occurs. It's just an activation of the muscles. That's for your multifidi muscles in the back of your body. And feeling like your belly's tacking down or your hips are narrowing together gets after your transversus abdominis. These are your deep core stabilizers. And so keeping that feeling like your belly is narrowing in and like your tail wants to kick your head, from there, come up just a tiny bit and take a look down at your belly. This is going to be a slower and more boring abdominal exercise than you've ever done, but I promise you if you're doing it right, it'll be one of the strongest ones you've ever done. And come up a little higher and notice, did your belly come out towards the sky? If so, can you bring it back down towards the ground? And still feel like your tailbone is trying to kick back up towards your head. Like you want to arch your back, but you're just not letting it arch. Maybe you start to feel a little shake here as you rise up a little higher to our third level. Again, taking a look at the belly, seeing if it pooched up, inviting it back down. And I know I'm shaking here, coming up to the fourth and highest level that we have, or that you have. Mhm. You can place one hand on the belly and slowly lower down to the ground as slow as you can. So finding this eccentric muscle lengthening or engagement while your muscle's getting longer as much as you're finding the opposite. Good. And we go again. On an exhale, rise up just a little bit. Checking in with the belly, checking in with the back. Feeling like you want to arch your low back, feeling like the belly's coming to the ground. Rise up a little higher. And the shaking is just more motor units firing in your body making new connection to your muscles. Rising up a little higher. Truly, the belly doesn't even really move here. And then coming up even higher. And as slow as we can, we lower down, imagining our head lengthening away from our waist as we lower all the way to the ground as slow as we can. Still lowering, still lowering, still lowering. One more time here, coming up just a little bit. Finding those same muscular actions. Tailbone kicks down into the ground. It's not tucking under here. Instead, we're activating our low back ever so slightly. Rise up a little higher. A lot of ab exercises tend to leave out this back side of our core. So really feel like you want to have a little arch in your low back, but you're not letting it as you rise up a little higher. And indeed, this is the type of activation you should find in all abdominal exercises you do. And then rise up the fourth height. And from there, lower down as slow as you can. Maybe to a count of 8. Or maybe just until you can't do it anymore. Lovely. Bring your left hand behind your head, coming into our anterior oblique sling here. So this is a line of connective tissue that comes along your left inner thigh and across the front of your chest here, all the way up towards your right pec. So bringing up your left leg, put your right hand on the inside of your left leg and press hand to leg, leg to hand. Feel how that activates that inner line of your leg or your adductors on the left side here. Keeping that press in, slowly begin to rise up, finding that same activation we found before. So still feeling like that sacrum, that tail wants to press into the ground, but crossing diagonally across the body. And we slowly lower down. Take about 4 more there. You can rise up slow, or you could rise up in 4 breaths in increments. Keeping your leg pressing against your hand here. And if you would take an eye down towards your belly, you're making sure that it's not pooching up, so that rectus abdominis or your main six-pack muscle isn't giving up on you here, but it's staying nice and active and pressing down. Knowing that the slow coming down is maybe even more important than the going up. It is in my body, because that's where I find I am weaker. And one more wherever you are. Switching sides, left leg down, right knee comes up, right hand behind the head. Press your left hand into that right thigh here. Feel the inner thigh engage here. From there, rising on up, our oblique activates here. Maybe rising up 3 or 4 steps. And then coming back on down slowly. And taking 4 slow ones here with your own breath. Naturally, in these abdominal exercises, we'll tend to breathe a little bit more into our chest. That is normal here. That's what we're trying to do. It'd be nearly impossible to breathe into our belly. And one more wherever you are. Good. Relaxing down. This next one comes from Katie Bowman in her book Diastasis Recti. So straighten the legs out. Reach the arms up over your head. We're going to roll over on our left side all the way onto our belly, but you're not allowed to just lift your hips here in order to do it. So see if you can use your belly muscles to eventually lift your hips up on over, head stays on the ground, and flop over onto your belly. I find coming onto my back even more difficult than that. So see, not by just lifting your leg, but actually engaging your abs a little bit, growing a little longer. Can you begin to turn onto your back? And I can barely do that one. It really shows where I struggle. Take 2 more, rolling on to your belly. Not lifting your legs or your arms to do so. So again, those hands, those legs stay on the ground as you try to roll onto your back or onto your belly. I could barely come onto my back. I need to work at this one. Good. And going the opposite way, rolling over onto your right, onto your belly. Three times that way. And this exercise is so good because it activates our abs while we're in this nice elongated position. And so if you have a diastasis recti or a splitting apart of your connective tissue at that linea alba, this is one of the best exercises you can do for yourself. One more time. And then coming back onto your mat. Feet plant on the ground once again. Just taking a few bridge poses here to help stabilize our core as well. So feel again that feeling like your sacrum, place your hands at the back of your hips actually, and press your hips down into your hands here. There should be a little space for your thumbs at your low back. Keep that. It feels like, again, your tail is trying to curl a tiny bit towards your head, but you're not lifting your back any further away from the ground. So it's this very subtle engagement, kind of like you try to like suck in your abs as you're standing. You're almost doing the same thing for your low back. From there, keep that neutral spine as you just lift up your hips. Starting to engage your glutes here. And then lower down halfway. See if you could keep that same neutral spine this whole time you're going, lifting up through your hips again. And lowering down halfway. Lifting up. Lowering slowly down halfway. And 2 more times, lifting up, lower down halfway. And this is as hard or as easy as you want to make it here. One more time. You could feel like your legs are pressing out into walls on either side. You could get even a nice little shake in your legs here. And lower it down. Good. Bring your left foot a little more into the center. Lift your right knee up. This time we're actually going to tuck down. So you're going to tuck your tailbone underneath you. And then from there, lift on up towards a single leg bridge here. And then come back down halfway. Lifting up. Noticing if your hips are trying to swivel or drop on the right side. Can you keep them in line with each other? Lower down halfway. 3 more times, up and down halfway. And we're trying to just stay really stable across the front and back of our pelvis here. So things aren't dropping or lifting or falling. The only thing that's really moving is just the rise of the hips up. And one last time, let's lower them all the way to the ground. Right foot comes down, left knee lifts up. Same thing on this side. Tuck that pelvis under this time and then rise on up. Lower down halfway. Take about 5 more or so, however many you like. Noticing if this side feels easier or more difficult than the other side. Noting that you should probably double up on the more difficult side when you're off time. Maybe you place the hands on the front of the hips like I am, just to notice if one hip is dropping more than the other. Trying to keep them nice and in line together. Good. And then lowering all the way back down. Hug your knees into your chest. And take an easy rock on your low back. We'll take just a few restorative poses here. If you have a pillow or a couch cushion, pause and go find that now. I'm simply taking 2 pillows and stacking them both on top of each other while they're rolled in half. And we'll place them about at where your hip makes that little sway. So in between your chest and your hips. And then the body will lay over the side of the pillow. And the hands will just stack and the feet will just stack. If it feels like too much on your top arm, you could just bend it. As long as your elbow is reaching away from your hip, that's all that really matters here. And seeing again, if like at the start of class, you could send your breath more into the back space of your body. We're always looking at ourselves in the mirror, just seeing the front of our bodies. We tend to forget about the sides, about the back. So can you just send breath there, acknowledge it. Option here to bend your right knee and take your knee, your hip a little bit behind you. Only if it feels good on your body. After our strengthening, we're finding lengthening. And there might be one that feels like it helps you more. Maybe your abs are too tight, and that's what causes back pain or discomfort in your tummy or your back or your pelvis. Maybe they're imbalanced in some of those more asymmetrical exercises we did or for you. And that's for you to find out. And coming back on up. Switching sides, rolling over onto the opposite side. Draping the other half of your body over your props. In a studio, this would be a bolster. And even here, as you switch sides, you can notice the difference. Maybe there's an angle of your body that feels better on one side than the other. You roll a little more forwards or a little more back. And coming back on up. Send one pillow away. And for our last pose here, we'll just give ourselves a little belly massage. So the pillow comes underneath the belly. I usually do this with one of those yoga or Mexican blankets, but it also can work with a pillow here. So just fold it up and place it at the lowest part of your belly that you can, and then simply rest your body. Again, just giving that new feedback to the muscles of the belly, the input of the pillow. Trying to send the breath into the back of the body. The part of the body not touching the pillow. And all these poses are just offerings that you can use in trying to work out or figure out your core, the front and back of your body in the middle, and how it supports you, where it feels strong, where it feels like it's weak, and where it feels like it needs to be loosened. And turn your head the opposite way. And coming back onto your side to remove the pillow off the side. Place the pillow underneath your knees, laying down on your back. For a final rest here, you can place one hand on your belly, or you can rub your hand on your belly in a clockwise direction, stimulating the flow of your digestive processes, going in the same direction that your colon, your large intestine, go. Resting your arms down at your side whenever you're ready. Relaxing your body into a resting pose of Shavasana. Letting your body accept the information that it's just received or watched or felt. One of the best ways for learning to solidify itself in your body is to rest after you learn. So allow yourself to rest. Namaste.